So the second part of our video on section 6.7, we're going to use the distance formula to find the distance between two ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. One thing we should do is we should try to recognize if our x's match. They don't. Do our y's match? They don't. So what that means is this segment GH, it's a diagonal segment. So you can't just count to find its length. We are going to use the distance formula. And here it is right here. And it's color-coded to help you. Now, the x values, we'll use more colors. Our x values are the first number in each ordered pair. So we have a -6 and a 7. And you can put them in any order you want here. I'll put -6 and then a 7, just because the -6 is what I saw first. Now, your y values are the other numbers in those ordered pairs. Those y values are 8 and -4. Here's where you need to really watch yourself. Since we picked the -6 to go before this +7, we need to make sure that the 8 is the first y value because that came from that same ordered pair that the -6 was in. And then we're going to use a -4 over here. Now, you can type this whole entire thing into the calculator, and it's going to give you an answer. Okay? Since my calculator isn't displayed, I think I'll just kind of work it out for you by hand, and then we'll talk about the answer at the end. -6 minus 7, that's -13. And we need to square that. 8 minus -4, that's like 8 plus 4, that's 12. We need to square that. What does that give you? Well, I know that -13 times -13 is 169. I also know that 12 times 12 is 144. So your answer is going to be the square root of whatever this is, 169 plus 144. I can use a calculator pretty easily to figure that out. It gives me 313. Now, you should still have your perfect square list beside you when you're doing these problems. I'm going to look on my perfect square list for 313, and I don't see it. But I know that 289 is a perfect square, and I know that 324 is a perfect square. 313 is not exactly 324, it's a little bit less. So I know my answer is going to be a little bit less than 18, if that makes any sense. Now I'm going to just type it in the calculator, square root of 313. And it's going to tell me my answer is a little bit less than 18. It's 17 point, I'm going to keep 2 decimals here, 69. That's the distance in units from point G to point H. Let's try another one. Find the distance between these two ordered pairs. These x's don't match, these y's don't match. So this will be a diagonal segment. You can't count to find its length, but you can use the formula, and that's what we're going to do. I'll use the same color pattern as last time. My x's are 5 and -3. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use this guy first. So I'll put -3 minus 5. My y values are 6 and 1. Which number do I have to put first? It's important. If you don't put the right number here, you're going to get it wrong. We use the -3 first with the x's. So you must use that 1 first with the y's. -3 minus 5 is -8. I need to square that. 1 minus 6 is -5. I need to square that as well. 8 squared is 64, so -8 times -8 is 64 as well. -5 times -5 is 25. 64 plus 25 is 89. Now, again, I'm going to look on my perfect square list. 89 is not on there, but 81 is on there. I know the square root of 81 is 9. So I know that the square root of 89 is a little bit bigger than 9. That makes sense. Now I can type it in the calculator. Square root 89, this is giving my exact answer. It is a little bit bigger than 9. It's 9.43. Keep your eyes open for the easy examples that we were referencing on the last two. Notice how these x values are different, but these y values are the same. So how far is it from 5 to 12? From 5 to 12 is 7 units. That's all I had to do. I didn't have to use the whole entire distance formula, but I could. It'll still give me the same answer. How about this one? Find the distance between these ordered pairs. Notice how the x values are both the same. They don't need to be zeros. They just need to match. So if this was a 1 and a 1, that would be the same distance. Okay, so how far is it from -6 to -2? From -6 to -2 is 4 units. So if this was, let's just make it a 10. If these were both 10s, they match. The distance between the point R and point S, it's still 4. So these ordered pairs, the x values don't matter if they match. Just subtract the y's.